to finish the movie. Yes. I think it's because, are you rolling? Yeah?
And we are rolling.
I think this because this project is so action-driven, but also with a lot of humor. It requires a lot of editing and a lot of putting together, parts of different performances. And I'll go into that later on. The first thing that we did is we kind of had to decide on what to do with the turtles in terms of the design. We took a look at, we're very, very careful about the mythology of the turtles and where they're coming from, how many fans he has. And I think the difference is that we're coming from a comic world in which everything is designed for one frame, right? So one frame tells you a specific story. Then when you start thinking about, how these guys move, then you need to start thinking about, what to do with the face. Just the fact that performances come from, from your whole face, but we are limited by 50% of the face already because there's a mask. We thought that the eyes were really important. We thought that after that, then these turtles have to talk. And once we talk, then we're kind of in a different world because everything has to work in a specific way. If we talk and we make it, a mouth that is from cheek to cheek and there's some huge teeth that are part of the original design, it's a real problem for us to make it look believable because it's going to start looking like a puppet. And so we had to make some decisions in terms of how do we articulate those sounds. There are some specific sounds that we were going for, THs, Fs, things that and extreme, expressions like ah or screaming, that we need to do something with the flesh. Otherwise, it just looks funny. And so we had to, we came up with these designs. But let me take you back, and we did about 6 months of exploration. And so we came from something that was really dark to something that was really, really benign. And this is some of the dark parts. This is not in the movie. But just to give you an idea of what kind of range we have. I mean, there's blood all over the place, there's all this stuff, but then we came up with really benign designs. The next thing for us to do was, because this project was about performance, is how do we capture the performance on the set? And that was also something that that it was very new, just to take the facial performance, from the actors onto the set, not only on the stage, but also on the set. So we came up with 138 markers, for the face through a 3D print of the actor's face. And we came up with taking 2 cameras instead of just one. One for the left and one for the right. And that's because there's a lot of acting that happens in the corners of the eyes and the corners of the mouth and the jaw, because they're moving it and they're doing a lot of dialogue. And that's part of the kind of the challenge about this project, is that it's full of dialogue and it's full of humor. So these are some of the helmets that we came up with, for the actors. And then we had a bunch of technicians take the performances and kind of make sure that the performances are what we needed in terms of data. But we were about 14 people on the set. So as a footprint for a visual effects movie, that's a lot of people. So it's because of the 4 actors, there are 2 cameras in every one of the actors. They're HD cameras. They're not standard definition cameras, and there's not 1 anymore. There's 2. So we tripled the amount of data. So in a good day, we would have 1 terabyte of data per actor. And what happens is that because we were doing all this motion capture, the cameras were always rolling. They never stopped. So the actors never knew where the coverage was coming from, but they were always acting. So we had to manage all that data. And this is what it looks like more or less on the set. This is Pete, the actor that plays Leo. And you can see the 138 markers, and she's having a great time over there. The cameras are positioned so that the actors can see their eyes. And sometimes, you can actually, we had to move the islands up because the actors were a little bit shorter than the real turtles. And then besides the facial performance, there is a body performance. And to do that, we had special suits that we built in just for these. You can see the fiducia, it's called fiducia, this thing over here. So the computer knows exactly which of the characters is moving. So the computer has a specific sensor there that knows which actor is which, because there's so much data in there. And then we had what Chris over here, this technician, is doing is making sure that the information from the cameras goes straight to a recorder, and that gets wirelessly sent to the technicians on the set.